Hello and welcome to UB2 University Podcast. My name is Ilham. I'm a student and a teacher of English, and we have...
Hello, my name is Buakwesi. They call me Barry. I'm from Ghana and I'm a fourth-year medical student at the Institute of Medical Sciences in Batna.
So we are here to...
introduce...
this...
amazing...
initiative.
Right.
Okay.
So tell us a bit about this initiative, Ilham, if you may.
Exactly. So the aim of this podcast is woven into the grand aim of university. We all know that universities are educational institutions whose aim to provide knowledge for those who seek it. But it also has another aim, which is...
Sure. So the other aim of the university is to interact with society, figure out the problems in society, gather the information and ways to solve these problems, and also share the knowledge acquired in the universities with the general public in a more comprehensive way, which is the aim of this podcast.
Exactly. So simply, our aim here is to share knowledge as it is the cornerstone of any developed community. Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about knowledge, Barry.
Right. So, it's important to understand that knowledge has a lot of value, but this value is always locked in books, in more complicated concepts that only elites and noble people could get access to.
Exactly.
And if we can recognize the value in knowledge, it means this knowledge accumulated and formed in the universities has to be simplified in a way and accessible in a way to the general public, to the average person.
Exactly. Let's say that these concepts are very complex in nature, that university professor can find it hard to grasp them, let alone somebody from the general public who just wants to, for example, make a living for his children or something.
Exactly. And the implication is a lot of people do not care about knowledge anymore because it seems distant from their spheres from their world, right? And it makes the learning process not fun and more complicated than it has to be.
Exactly. And let's say that knowledge does not really have to be boring. Something that only boring people talk about. Knowledge can be fun. Knowledge can be interesting. And we have a lot of examples of people who make knowledge fun and accessible to the general public. Let's talk about Carl Sagan, who is an astronomer and also a science commentator. He has made astronomy fun for anybody who wants to talk about it, like on a cup of coffee, for example, in a cafe.
Speaking of astronomy, I know another guy, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, he's an astrophysicist also, and he explains concepts in ways that even I, a medical student who's not supposed to be interested in astrophysics, by the way, I find it so exciting to watch him explain these concepts that some of them actually stay with you. It just gets stuck in your mind because you love learning.
Exactly. And someone else that both you and I like is Jordan B. Peterson, who is a psychologist.
Clinical psychologist.
A clinical psychologist. He talks about clinical psychology concepts, and that was really interesting, especially that I'm a teacher. I really need to dig into the psychology of the learner as well as the psychology of the human being that I'm supposed to teach in an educational concept. And it's even interesting to you. You are very distant from the field of psychology.
Of course.
You're not really that distant.
Not too distant, but yeah.
You're going to be a doctor, right? You're going to interact with human beings. You have to understand how these human beings are wired up, right?
But I mean, the bottom line is these concepts were supposed to be out of my field of interest.
Exactly.
But these people present it in a way that's interesting. And the fact that they do it on a platform that is accessible to a lot of people is the more interesting part of it.
Exactly. All right. So this initiative came about to open up and communicate with the internal and external community. What I mean by internal community is like staff members, teachers, and leaders who make decisions in the university, as well as students, normal students like you and I, who have great clubs, maybe events or startups.
Definitely. Entrepreneurs.
Yeah, exactly. And also the external community. Not everybody that has something valuable to share is inside these walls of university. There are a lot of great people out there who have great things to share.
So I'm guessing that's what the external community comprises of.
Exactly. So basically, let's talk about communication. What is the value of communication?
Oh, well, there's a lot of value in communication. Talking to the average person, you realize if you actually listen to people, you find a lot of value in things they have to say.
Exactly.
And the beauty of platforms like this is while communicating with people, these knowledgeable people, you get to propagate this value found in the things they have to share in a simplified way, by the way, with the general public, with as many people as can get access to them.
Exactly. So in simple words, so it's going to be like we give those who have something great to share a voice and a platform to share it and propagate it. And I think another aim of communication is to connect with people. And we connect to build communities of knowledge, communities that empower youth and maintain the university values. I find that in my daily life, I am really interested in the field of social entrepreneurship as well as educational technologies. And I surround myself with a lot of professionals around me, like on the platform of LinkedIn. These people help me a lot to get to know new concepts and new trends in the field of education that helped me largely in my teaching practice here in Algeria. And that's really valuable to me.
Personally, I'm more interested in, well, two things: financial markets and also technology.
Wow.
Having people come on to talk about these things would be quite exciting.
Exactly. Something else that I would like to stress out is that the idea of making content online was not a really new thing. A lot of corporations, universities have been making content since a very long time, like starting from 2006, maybe even before. And one famous example that I really like is the Harvard lectures on ethics. There are like 7 to 10 lectures about ethics and morality. Each lecture contains about 1 hour, and it has a lot of interactions. Like imagine 1 million people watching and listening to 1 hour lecture about something as abstract as morality and ethics. Like that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Exactly.
Millions of views. That means there's a lot of value in knowledge that if you're able to distill down to the level of a level where anybody can understand and on a platform where anybody can access, it gets lots of traction. Hopefully we get 1 million views at some point.
So why not? So basically what I found interesting is when these universities have started to give these students a platform to share their voices. Like even students have something valuable to share.
Of course,
exactly.
Lots of students have lots of beautiful perspectives that if they can express it, it's just also a significance of the fact that they've actually understood these concepts the university meant to teach them, and that also presents the value of the university to the average person.
Exactly. So the topics that they talk about range from literature and philosophy to biology and technology. And they also talk about global problems such as climate change and human rights. It's pretty interesting to learn about all these things from students' perspective and from all teachers' perspective. I guess that allowing students to talk about these topics can make them close to the youth, because we have like old professors who have a lot of insight to share, but these professors don't really know how to tap into the youth mentality. I think putting students in that position can help us reach the youth, which are like the majority population on the planet Earth.
I think a young person would be more inclined to watch another young person talk about a topic, because they can relate to some of the things and examples they can give, the process of learning. It's all very exciting.
Exactly. So let's end this part to talk about how we envision this podcast to be.
Oh, wow. Okay, so envisioning this podcast, well, I hope we get a lot of people coming on, first off. Lots of people being excited to come share their insights and things they've learned through experience and, in whatever means they acquire the knowledge, And I also hope we get a lot of people just simply being interested in learning from these people coming on the podcast. What's your vision? What do you envision?
So basically, I'm a little bit selfish when it comes to that. I just envision this as a platform that would allow me to bring interesting people with whom I may converse on interesting people such as education and in social entrepreneurship. I'm all about that. And I really wish that people would find value in what I am going to share and the people that I'm going to bring to this platform, really.
I share that vision too. I mean, having someone come on the platform to talk about a topic of interest would be very interesting. Like I said, financial markets, technology, that would be quite exciting. Even medicine. Definitely. It would be quite exciting. So I'm excited.
Exactly. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Monsieur Farouk,
the man behind the idea.
Exactly, and the university to provide such a platform for us, students and teachers, to share great insight.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.